So now that we've talked about entropy, we'll be able to dive into the concept of lying and honesty. How important it's going to be to not lie, to be honest, but at the same time to understand that being honest and lying might not be what you think. It's a bit more complex than it looks like. It's not simple. Likewise, you have to be proactive with not letting other people lie to you. You have to force honesty. It's a concept that's going to be very powerful. Let's take an example. A man's come up to a woman in the club and propose her for a drink. May I buy you a drink? Why is he doing that? He does that because he wants to be nice to her and he wants at the same time to spend time with her. It's an opportunity. Okay, I'm being nice with you, I'm paying you a drink. At the same time, if you like me, then not only you get a drink, but we get a drink together and we can have time to talk. And maybe it will go somewhere. Would he want to do it if he knew that she will not be interested no matter what? She's just going to take the drink and then go back to her friend. Would he do that? No, he would not. However, that's what almost every girl are doing with men who come and propose for a drink. Why? This is a form of lying. This is a form of sneakiness, what we could call being sneaky. This is exactly like with the Rubik's Cube. He comes, hey, may I buy you a drink? But he wants to do it in the context of having no entropy, of this being harmonized around, okay, I'm buying a drink in the context of flirting. She doesn't want that, but she still wants the drink. So what does she do? She does what we call sneakiness. She lies. She starts by lying, right? She starts by lying, by answering in the same way that is expected in the context that the man wants. Yeah, of course. Let's go. She makes him believe that she's fine with it. He buys the drink, then she's like, thank you very much, see you later. She goes back to the friend. Now, what happens? He's been fooled. She's been lying in kind of a way. But she can manipulate. She can manipulate the dynamic. She can do what we call sneakiness. She can be sneaky. How? By pretending that the entropy was in another way. This is a meta-conflict. This is a conflict about the notion of conflict itself. This is a meta-conflict. This is a meta-argument. This is what sneakiness is about. Well, you propose me for a drink, I say, okay, that's it. What do you expect? I thought I was going to buy you a drink, but in the context of flirting. Well, no, if I knew that, I wouldn't have accepted. Of course she knew that, but she pretends. And mostly he knows that she just pretended, that he got fooled. But what's going to happen? She's going to keep pretending that she didn't lie. She really thought the entropy was in a certain way, the entropy of interpretation. And so she's going to have the support of her friend or whatever, if ever, let's say the man doesn't accept, he has a strong boundary. He doesn't accept to have been manipulated in this way. But she's going to have the support of her friend. She's going to have the support of society. Like, yo man, you propose a drink. She say yes, now just go away. The bouncers are going to come. It's just a game of power. It's like the jungle. It's a play of power. She has more power, so she can manipulate the dynamics in a sneaky way however she wants. And the man can do nothing in this context. In other contexts, she would be the one who have less power. But ultimately just a game of power. That's why arguing never really leads anywhere, because at the end of the day, just the one who has the more power that will tweak the meta conflict in its interest, so that no matter how you argue, the meta argument will be in their favor because they have more power. And this you can do nothing about. And so you will lose. Now let's try an example which is way more subtle and way more complex. In the pickup community back in the day, when I was following the more classical advices, there is this idea of giving an excuse to pull a girl home. For example, hey, let's grab food. You're in the club, It's about to close. Hey, let's grab some food. Okay, there is this little place down my home or whatever. Let's go there. You go there, you grab the food, then you go home with her. Whatever. Okay, this is one way to do it. But the idea was that she will feel judged as a slut if she says okay to go home with you to have sex. So in order to help her to not feel that, you use an excuse, right? Let's do this. We're not going to have sex. This is to do this. And then for logistical reason, you go home. It works pretty well, but the problem is that it's not being used in this way. Actually, from what I've seen, in the community, it's being used in a very sneaky way. It's being used in a context where actually she's getting baby stepped. It's not just that she doesn't want to be seen like a slut, it's just that she's not sexually attracted yet. But the guy who applied the advices, they don't see it yet because they are not that good at dating, at pickup. So they don't see it, they apply the advices blindly, and they end up scamming the girl. They end up doing something sneaky while thinking that they are helping her, but actually they've been kind of lying. Okay, another classical example. A woman asks you, what are you searching for? With women in general. And let's say that, like most of the people that follow my content, you are not necessarily searching for a relationship. You like casual relationships, casual datings, sex here and there, deeper relationship here and there, and sometimes maybe you get into a serious relationship. But you like it to be intense, you like it to have emotions, you like it to have life. You're searching for life in it. You don't just want to fuck and that's it. You want to grow from it. You want life to be there, right? You want it to be an experience, a sharing between two connected human beings. You want there to be a connection. You want an atmosphere to be here. You don't just want to fuck and say, yeah, I fucked, which a lot of guys just want to. They just want to boost their ego. Now, if you're this type of guy, and there's a high chance you are if you're looking at this product and you've gone that far. If you're just looking to fuck and that's it, you would not have been that far. You would have stopped and sent me a mail. Yo, Alex, your program is bullshit. It's way too complex. I don't want to deal with that. Give me back my money. And I would have given you back your money because my content is not going to satisfy you. If you've been following through until now, it means you're not really like that. You want more profound relationships, even if it's not serious relationship. Now, a woman asks you, what are you searching for with women? You say, nothing serious. Are you being honest or are you lying? Hard question. In a way, it's like with the entropy of looking at the macro level and the micro level. At the macro level, you're honest, you're saying the truth. But what it means to say the truth, what it means to communicate truth, it's a thing to put words on something that's in your mind, that is true in your mind. But what if there is entropy in the communication of those words? And she gets those words and she will interpret it, so the same words, but she will interpret it differently. She will interpret, okay, so he will just fuck me like if I'm just one more piece of meat and that's it. And that's all. No emotion, no atmosphere, just we arrive home, we fuck, that's it. She interprets this way. This interpretation, is it true or is it not true? Is it true or is it false, this interpretation she has? It's false, it's not true. Well, maybe it is, but most likely if you're here, it's not. So it's not true. So actually you've communicated something false. You've said something, she gets an information from you, which is false. It's different from reality. It's different from the truth. It's false. So have you been saying the truth or have you been lying? Complicated question. And now it gets tangled with the ethic of it. It gets complicated question. And now maybe she will not want to keep going with you. Whereas if she knew the truth, she would love it. That's what happens a lot. I've seen that a lot with my students and my own experiences. They always have some kind of problems. For example, this kind of question or some moment where they fuck up and they lose the girl. They ask me, Alex, what can I do at this moment? And I'm like, oh, you know what? I take their phone, I write something, and I say, is that true? I show them the text. Is that what you think? They are like, yeah, really, I really think that. I send it. And the girl is like, oh my God, this is exactly what I'm searching for. I want the same thing. This is so good. I'm so happy that we're on the same page. She's like, what the fuck? When I've been saying the truth in the past, every girl disappeared. She loves it. Why? Because they, at their level, they don't really get this question of entropy. They don't understand that when they say, for example, oh, nothing serious, there is so much entropy in those words. She can interpret in any bad way. And if she's had bad experiences in the past, she will interpret it in the bad way. Now, what I do with the text, I put emphasis of the context on the understanding. For example, it depends. I'll be reading the previous text to know a bit what the girl is about, and to adapt. But something like, I don't know what comes out of my head now. Something like, for example, I don't like meaningless intercourse. It makes me feel like I'm losing my time and I could do better things with this time. So I'm more into intense interactions that I will remember. But however, I'm still not available for anything serious. This is not the best text ever. It's not good, it's not bad. It's just something that came out of my mind now. Don't use it as a routine. You've seen the entire project now. Don't use twice the same text. Why didn't I just take an old text and give it to you? Because I want to try this exercise of always coming up with new stuff. You have to do it as well. Because on the long term, this is what's going to make you versatile, flexible, fluid like water, and powerful. Okay, why this way of saying it? Because, well, with time, what happens is that you understand more and more of the psychology of other people, especially women. And so you start to understand, you start to be able to predict, if you say something like this, how is she likely to interpret it? And so you can start to think about it and preempt it. And now you can become very good at actually being honest for real, which is more complex than just putting words on what you have on your mind. Because if they interpret wrongly, you've lied. That was not your intention, but you've lied. And it has consequences. Maybe she will lose an opportunity with a cool guy like you. So there is consequences. However, you don't want to push it too far and get sneaky. You want to really speak the truth. You don't want to get manipulative. Why? Because on the long run, we've talked about the fact of lowering your perception of how much you need to perform. This is completely linked. The more you proactively lie, the more you are proactively sneaky to get what you want. You say things in a way so that they interpret in another way, and then you flip it around so that actually you get the point. What happens? It's like a creative field. It makes you train yourself to play within this meta creative field, this higher creative field, within which you need to trick the system, within which the system has a strong obstacle that you need to overcome. It's true, but only on the short term. If you work with it, on the long term, it becomes a free road. It seems like it's so fucking easy. You just go up to a woman, you're like, wow, you're so fucking attractive. She's like, oh, thank you. And you go home. It just feels like this at some point. But how do you get there? By not doing this kind of bullshit. The obstacle is the way. We talked about it. But you want to create your own obstacles for yourself. Don't put in your mind, don't train in your mind the perception that there is outside obstacles that are here and that makes it difficult. The only obstacles that you want to be on the way, you want to be obstacles that you put to yourself, which are not outside. They are not there. Outside it's easy, but you make it more complicated for yourself to evolve, to harmonize your interaction with women with the other parts of your psychology, which wants to be stimulated, which wants challenge, which wants to have fun, to enjoy. It's as if you're playing chess at some point. If you're against the same level person at some point, well, it's fucking easy to win, but you're not enjoying anymore. You get the point. The obstacles are not in the real world, you're creating for yourself so that the part in your psychology have fun together. Well, another example. In face-to-face, it doesn't happen that much, but by text, it happens a lot. If you want to escalate by text messages, she will just see the verbal and the syntax, the smileys, whatever. So it's as if this layer here is missing, this one in the middle. She doesn't see the intonation, she doesn't see your facial expression. And so it's hard to interpret what it means. That's why, for example, when you escalate by text with a new girl, you want to really pay attention to details. You want to detail it. For example, instead of being like, let's say you've already been pretty sexual, instead of being like, I wanna fuck you doggy style and pull your hair. Well, instead of saying this, that she might interpret it in a way that doesn't really trigger sexual arousal in her and might even trigger her ego. You will put emphasis on what you really mean by it, the context around it. There is many ways of actually doing that action. You want to make clear what is the entropy of what you're saying. You want to make it clear as much as possible so that it doesn't go into negative entropy. You don't want that to happen. So be proactive about it. So instead, you'll be explaining the context until she then knows you and she gets the right interpretation directly. But if she first doesn't know you very well, you have to explain. So instead of saying that, you'll be like, I can already feel how intense it would be if I just get closer to you, slowly creating a kind of atmosphere, and I slide my right hand just behind your neck, under your hair, and feel your skin along my fingers, seeing your eyes telling me something like, I have no idea what you're going to do, but please keep going. Then I can already tell how the excitement is going to build up in our bodies. As I'm going to come behind you, grab your hair a bit firmer, and make you bend slowly but firmly over this kitchen table, and take your paint off as I see your face starting to delight, as I'm now putting my left hand around your throat and feel your breath starting to spike up. And you build it in this way, it would be exactly like, okay, this even was not especially good, it might not be the best sex toy ever, it might not be especially good or bad, I don't know, however, but I'm just showing you the idea. Instead of going directly like, I wanna do this, it's like a Rubik's Cube. If you want to make one face but have the other one correct as well, you can just focus on making one face because the other will be mixed up. You have to work your way on the other face as well. You have to deal with it, work all the face up like a pyramid, and then when you announce, what's that? Now all the Rubik's Cube is in place. Now she gets everything right. And now she's like, oh God, I'm so fucking wet, or whatever, you're going to have extremely good reactions. When you start to do that, what you notice is that actually every obstacle we met with other people, most of them, it's just misinterpretation. Actually, everything you want to do with a woman, if you know how to communicate it to her in a way that is true, in a way that she doesn't misinterpret it, most of the time she will fucking like it. She will say, well, that's exactly what I want. Nature is well made. It's nature. Nature has made you in a way that combines perfectly with women. That's how it is. The only problems, they come out of misinterpretations most of the time. Okay, so now you get pretty well why it's very important to be very careful and proactive about how you convey truth to other people, and you not end up lying, even if that's not what you're aiming for. You get now why it's so important. It works as well on the other way. People will try to manipulate you. People will try to be sneaky with you. People will try to lie to you. A woman will do it, will approach women. They will lie to you. For example, let's say you'd be spending 1 hour with a girl, let's say in a party, 1 hour, and in your interpretation, this is going well, and there's a context where she's interested even in going home with you, right? She knows that you interpret it this way. Maybe not, but in this example, let's say it's the case. She knows it. And it's not the case. She's not interested in it. She's just enjoying having the company of a man right now. She's getting your validation, whatever. You're making her have fun. And she knows that if you know that it's what's going on, you're going to leave or it's not going to be the same. So she decides to not speak the truth. She doesn't have this same awareness that you've been getting in this project and maybe in your previous development. So she's not really interested in developing this ability to go through life by only speaking truth. She doesn't see really how of a snowball effect it's going to have on her life. So she's like, well, I'm just going to sneak my way into this situation. I'm just not going to tell him. And then you've spent 1 hour and then she leaves. Okay, it was nice to meet you. I'm going home. I'm going with my friends. And she just disappears. Okay, so first, you've been fooled. That's shit. You lost your time. First problem. Just this is not good for you. But even more than that, in terms of actually getting her, we've talked about alphaness. We talked about what's attractive in a man in the eyes of a woman. This mastery of a reality over the world. This ability to get what they want. If she can fool you like this, how alpha do you look in her eye? If she can fool you, many people can fool you. You don't have actually much influence over reality. Do you get the point? However, if she sees by interacting with you that there's no way she can fool you, you're not going to let that happen. You're always going to be proactive with entropy. Not only with yours, you're going to make sure there's no misinterpretation from her to what you mean, but even in the other context. For example, you'll be spending time with her, you're having fun, etc., but there's not much sexual escalation. An average man, he'll be like, okay, she likes me, I like her, let's take my time, I don't want to be too pushy, whatever. And so he will not do anything. And then I go home, see you, I go back with my friend, she disappears. Well, how good was this strategy, man? It was shit. You're aware of the strategy. You're even aware that she is going to enjoy even more this interaction with you if she's more attracted. And you know that to get her more attracted, you have to display alphaness. So not only just for this reason you're going to escalate anyway, but moreover than this, you want to be proactive toward what she's after. You want to have like an investigator attitude. You know, in the dating industry, every coach says what you don't want is to look like a police inspector asking questions. That's what you don't want. Everybody says that. Well, it depends. Actually, you wanna look like a fucking police inspector. Not in the sense that you don't want to look like a police inspector if this is in the context that we talked about with small talk, in the context that you just ask questions because you just don't know what else to do. You want to be like a fucking police inspector in the sense that you want to investigate what her entropy is about. What is she really interpreting? What is she really after? It's like a business. If you have to build a business with someone, you have to negotiate a contract. Are you going to let them put some entropy, be unclear about what they want? You can get fucked up, right? It would not be a high level of mastery of a business about negotiation. Relationship is the same, remember, like negotiation. Do you want to let people put a bit of entropy? Like, oh, I'm nice with you and I make you believe I'm your friend, but actually I don't really like you, whatever. No, you don't want this to happen. Or if you do, you want to let it happen because you actually don't care about them neither. So you don't lose anything. But if you're caring about someone, you're approaching a woman, you're spending time with her, you don't want to invest your time on someone with whom the entropy is not clear. And just for that reason, the simple fact that you're going to be proactive and even pushy, that you're going to be fucking pushy with not letting them put entropy, this is going to be fucking attractive as a man. She's going to see, whoa, this guy is fucking proactive about not being fooled over. Now, the counterbalance would be if you look paranoid. Now it would look like, well, he's getting fooled by everybody all the time or what? Why is he so much on the defensive? But because you'll be playing with the positive creative field, this will not happen. So you will not have this problem. It will be well balanced. But so, for example, how do you investigate in a proper way? Do you ask for it? Actually, it's not even optimal because, well, then you're not having fun. It's getting heavy. So it's not optimal. How do you do? Well, you just push things forward. That's how you do it. You push the interaction in the direction that you want. And then naturally, if she doesn't want it, then it will spike up. You will see it. She will manifest it. She will not let you go in that direction. So now you have the information. For example, in this situation, you'll start to escalate. She'll be like, no. For example, she'll say no. Now you'll be like, okay, something wrong is going on. She's spending time with me, okay, right? But she doesn't want me to escalate. That's wrong. Okay, maybe she misinterprets why I escalate, maybe. And in this case, you have to clear up this entropy. Maybe she's putting entropy. She's being a bit sneaky about the situation. She's making me believe she likes me, but she doesn't at all. You don't want to get fooled. So now, you'll be investigating even verbally. And now this is when you will develop investigation skills. Investigation. It could be seen as manipulative, but actually it's collaborative. It's talking in a way actually forces people to give you the information you want. That's actually what it is. For example, instead of being like, oh, why don't you want me to escalate? And now she can give whatever bullshit she wants. You'll be like, why, you don't like me? And now she's fucked. Now she has to, she's boxed. She has to explain what's the entropy about. It's like playing chess. If you play random moves, they can be like, oh, well, I would just arrange. Now you go in the head of the shit. What, you don't like me? Now she's like, fuck. Either I say the truth and then that's it, that's gone. Then fine, you're not losing your time. And most of the time she will start to feel attracted from this. Like, oh, whoa, actually, he's not letting myself fool him. She will like it. Or otherwise, if she actually likes you, and so there is entropy about something else, she's not fooling you, just there is entropy something else. Now she will give you information about what that entropy might be about. And so now you can go about fixing it. It's because you think blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, I get it. Actually, it's not the case. This is the real explanation. And most of the time, if she likes you, well, she wants things to go forward. So actually, the fact that there is this entropy is something negative for her. So you spending time to fix this negative entropy is actually what she wants, is actually giving her positive value, is actually heading for happiness. So in any case, that's what you need to do. Don't get fooled by people. Head for the good and force people to do the same with you. Don't get fooled by people. This will get you amazing results because you are heading for the good, and we explain why it's amazing and get you results. And you're not letting people heading for the bad with you. And we just explained as well why it's going to have a massive good impact. So there is this kind of double game that you want to play. If you look at the most macro level of this entire course, there is two main dynamics that comes together that you're playing with. You want to harmonize the interboundaries of your happiness and their happiness. And at the same time, you want to reduce the entropy on both sides. So if we combine the things together, it leads to the idea of harmonizing the entropically reduced interboundaries of happiness. And here you get the full picture of what's going on. Here you get all the macro information about all the rest of the strategy. Your goal is to harmonize the entropically reduced, proactively reduced. You want to harmonize the proactively entropically reduced interboundaries of happiness. Pretty complex, say it like this, but if you get the idea, it's pretty obvious what's going on. Look, it's as if you're taking two different settings, like two different Rubik's Cube. You're trying to merge them. But to do that, so you're trying to merge them first, you're trying to harmonize them. But to do that, there is friction which is created by the entropy, which will lead to misunderstanding, which will hinder the ability to harmonize them. So as you're trying to merge them, which means harmonizing them, you will investigate those entropy knots. This is like knots of entropy, and reduce them to get the truth out of it so that now it clips easier. And as you reduce the entropy, it's easier to merge together the boundaries of happiness until it's harmonized. So you want to harmonize them, and at the same time you reduce the entropy. by investigating what is the true. You investigate what she misinterprets about you, and you investigate what she's trying to make you misinterpret. Okay, all right.